Have you noticed how often English learners say, I don't know? Someone asks them a question, and that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. Even when they actually have an idea, they still use that phrase.
Absolutely, Lily. It's one of the most common habits among English learners. The problem isn't the phrase itself. The problem is that learners use it too much and miss opportunities to express themselves in more natural ways.
Exactly. Today we're going to share some better alternatives that will make your English sound more confident, more natural, and more like a native speaker.
And the best part is that these expressions are easy to learn and can be used in everyday conversations immediately.
Mark, let's start with a simple example. Imagine someone asks you, what's your favorite movie? Many learners immediately answer, I don't know. But most of the time, they actually have an answer.
Exactly. Instead of saying, I don't know, they could say, that's a good question. This gives them a few extra seconds to think and sounds much more natural in conversation.
I love that expression because native speakers use it all the time. It sounds friendly, confident, and keeps the conversation moving.
Absolutely. It's a small change, but it can make a big difference in how fluent you sound.
Another useful expression is, I'm not sure. This is perfect when you don't know the exact answer, but still want to respond politely.
That's right. For example, if someone asks, what time does the store close? You can say, I'm not sure, but I think it's around 8 p.m.
Notice how that answer sounds much more natural than simply saying, I don't know, and ending the conversation.
Exactly. Even if you're uncertain, you can still contribute something useful to the discussion.
Sometimes you need a little more time to think. In that situation, you can say, let me think about that for a moment.
I use that phrase all the time. It sounds professional and gives you time to organize your thoughts without creating an awkward silence.
And it shows confidence because you're taking the question seriously instead of avoiding it.
Exactly. Native speakers often use these small expressions to make conversations smoother.
Here's another great alternative. I haven't thought about that before. This works well when someone asks an unexpected question.
That's a fantastic phrase because it's honest and natural. You're not pretending to know the answer, but you're still participating in the conversation.
And after saying it, you can share your thoughts as you think about the question.
Exactly. Conversations aren't tests. Nobody expects perfect answers immediately.
I think many learners are afraid of making mistakes, so they hide behind the phrase, I don't know.
That's true. But the more you speak, the more confident you become. Fluency grows when you express ideas, not when you stay silent.
So instead of ending the conversation with, I don't know, try giving a small opinion, a guess, or even asking a question back.
Exactly. The goal is communication, not perfection. Every conversation is an opportunity to practice and improve.
Mark, another phrase I hear native speakers use is, I have no idea, but they don't stop after saying they don't know. They continue the conversation by sharing a guess or an opinion.
That's true. For example, if someone asks about a future event, you can say, I have no idea, but I think it will be interesting. It keeps the conversation alive and shows you're engaged.
I like that because it sounds natural and friendly. You're being honest while still participating.
Exactly. Conversations work best when both people contribute something, even if they're not completely sure.
Another useful expression is, that's hard to say. Native speakers often use it when a question doesn't have a simple answer.
Absolutely. Imagine someone asks, what's the best city in the world? Instead of saying, I don't know, you can say, that's hard to say because every city is different.
That answer sounds much more interesting and gives the conversation somewhere to go.
Exactly. Good conversations are built on ideas, not one word answers.
Let's talk about confidence for a moment. Why do you think learners rely so much on I don't know?
I think they're afraid of making mistakes. They worry that their grammar won't be perfect or that they'll use the wrong word.
That's understandable, but mistakes are a normal part of learning. Nobody becomes fluent without making hundreds of mistakes along the way.
Exactly. Every mistake teaches you something. Staying silent teaches you very little.
Here's another expression I love. I've never really thought about that. It's perfect when someone asks a surprising question.
That's a great one. It sounds natural, polite, and gives you time to think. Then you can continue by sharing your first thoughts.
For example, if someone asks, what would you do if you became famous tomorrow? You could start with that phrase.
Exactly. The conversation becomes more interesting because you're thinking out loud instead of shutting it down.
At the end of the day, the goal isn't to avoid saying, I don't know completely. The goal is to have more ways to express yourself.
I couldn't agree more. The more expressions you know, the more natural and confident your English will sound.
And confidence grows every time you practice. Small improvements every day can make a huge difference over time.
Exactly. Fluency isn't built in a single day. It's built through consistent practice and real conversations.
So the next time someone asks you a question, don't rush to say, I don't know. Try one of the expressions we discussed today and see how much more natural your English sounds.
Remember, speaking English is about sharing ideas, not giving perfect answers. The more you communicate, the faster you'll improve.
Now it's your turn. Write a comment using one of today's expressions. We'd love to see how you use them in your own sentences.
And tell us which expression was your favorite. That's a good question. I'm not sure. Or, I've never thought about that before.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community of English learners.
Like the video, share it with a friend, and keep practicing every single day. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.